Hey everyone, Geek here, in the latest update video for the channel. If any of you are on Facebook or read the comments often, you may know that I went on vacation last week to Northern California. It was a long road trip from Seattle to California, but it was well worth the long hours in the car. One of my favorite parts was seeing the Redwood Forests of Northern California, where they filmed Endor for Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. When you go there, it really looks like the Ewok's home moon. Seeing Endor itself was amazing, but the highlight of the trip for me was going to Rancho Obi-Wan. Rancho Obi-Wan is a non-profit museum with the biggest Star Wars collection in the world, run by Steve Sansweet. If you look at the outside of the once chicken barn, you would never suspect what's on the inside.
John? Mr. Williams? I think he's napping again. Okay. This shock really doesn't hurt. It just wakes him up.
Going to Rancho Obi-Wan was definitely a highlight of my whole life. I have never seen anything like it. Every time we got to what we suspected to be the end, it stretched further.
So, you're going to take a trip with me aboard the Rebel Blockade Runner. I just want to give you a warning that sometimes we get Imperial interference, but let me handle it, because I know how to deal with these guys. So, reassembled by our...
So we're just about to execute the Wookiee, and he says, "You can't kill me today, it's Life Day." Life Day. I don't even know what that is, do you?
Please tell me you executed him anyway.
Oh yeah, we killed him, that's for sure. I mean, he was just... You.
Yeah?
You, in Rebel Starship Corridor 1138. What are you doing there?
Well, I'm just showing these
We'll
folks...
need to see some identification.
Boring. You don't need to see our identification.
We don't need to see their identification.
What about the guests?
These aren't the guests you're looking for.
These aren't the guests we're looking for.
We can continue the tour.
We can let them through now.
Thanks, bud.
Move along.
Yeah.
Move along.
Please watch your step.
He has toys, sculptures, vehicles, signs, books, posters, action figures, art, video games, interactive videos, animatronics, replicas, fan-made items, real movie props, and much more. The whole collection is so overwhelming, especially for a huge Star Wars fan. As much as the collection itself excites and thrills the fanboy inside of us all, the real beauty of the collection are the stories behind it. Steve Sansweet has personally been collecting Star Wars since it first came out in theaters. He even ended up working for Lucasfilm in merchandising and fan relations. His collection kept growing and growing until they needed a lot more room for everything to be displayed. You can even see hidden items that didn't quite make it to the display cases. Even if you aren't a Star Wars fan, the stories are enough to keep you invested in the 4-hour-long tour. He has stories behind each item, which makes his collection seem that much more special. The audio isn't the best, as I was just recording on my cell phone, but I'll let you listen to one or two of his great stories.
The original Yodas have deteriorated. There's one left that is in semi-recognizable condition because they're all made of latex because they were puppets and they had to be. But these are made of polyurethane, and so this will outlast me. So the head, the hands, the feet, the pan flute, and the cane are all made from the original molds from 1982. And they keep refreshing the molds so they will have a reference tongue. Plus it has dimples all over it. And so we're asking our kids. And so as soon as I saw this, I marched to the head of licensing and said, "What the heck were you thinking?" And he said, "Oh, well, they convinced us that kids like gross candy." And I said, "Gross is one thing, but sexually provocative?
Oh my gosh.
Weird." This is the actual crotch of one of the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters. Now, how I have the crotch of Forlom, I don't want to go into. Long story. But Ilan actually named this creature, Forlom, for the love of money. Here I thought it was all passion. I thought they'd do it for free. But so we had one of Lucasfilm's archivists finally made it here with her boyfriend about 2 months ago and looked at the piece and said, "So that's where it is." And I thought, uh-oh. But anyway, she was fine with it. And they have the head, the torso, part of 2 legs, and 1 foot. And I said, "Well, you're welcome to bring those over here and put it together."
My favorite parts, other than all of it, has to be when we first walked into the room. His huge collection of books, the life-size replicas, real movie props, and the arcade.
So this one unfortunately shuts off after you press the trigger. We're still trying to get somebody to fix it. This is the one where a lot of us lost a lot of money growing up. This came out in 1983. The very first game on the Redwood 82, an old-fashioned electromechanical pinball game. Like, very easy to feel.
I gotta play the legendary Star Wars Arcade. It earned 10th place in my top 10 best Star Wars video games of all time. Steve Sansweet is a great guy with a great collection, so I suggest you all go down to Petaluma, California to check out the biggest and best Star Wars collection in the world. Before I go, I want to explain to you why I haven't been uploading as often as I was before. I recently got my first paid gig to film and edit a photography tutorial. I have been giving this job my full attention and have kind of been putting Stargeek to the side. This does not mean I'm giving up Stargeek in any way, shape, or form, but that I will not be uploading as frequently over the next few weeks. Another issue will be school, starting for me on September 3rd, meaning Stargeek will have to come after school priorities. Hopefully I will be able to keep up with the video every 4 days schedule, but I might have to come up with something new and more flexible. Thanks so much for the support and understanding. Subscribe to Stargeek for weekly Star Wars content. If you love Rancho Obi-Wan as much as I do, please shoot that like button at light speed. You can go check out my Facebook page, linked in the description below, as it really helps me out when you like my page. If you go over to the page, you will get daily news on Star Wars Episode 7, Stargeek episodes, memes, and even Rancho Obi-Wan. Try clicking on the screen to subscribe, and click on the link to the left for my last video, where I give you 5 Star Wars facts on C-3PO, in Star Wars Factor Beam Episode 8. You can also click on the right to watch how Yoda was dead the whole time he was on Dagobah. Don't forget to like the video and tell me your favorite Star Wars moment, from the first time you saw it to when you saw a fat guy cosplaying as Slave Leia, in the comments section below. Until we meet again in a galaxy far, far away, this has been Stargeek.
Here you shall see things beyond imagination. But your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. Stretch out with your feelings, but not with your hands. Or you may end up like that poor soul I had to deal with in the Mos Eisley Cantina. Rancho Obi-Wan is Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I much prefer to Rancho Ben. I must warn you that a visit here can lead to feelings of intense jealousy, but do not give in to hate. That leads to the dark side. If you're lucky, you also won't get into a spending spree, even at the Rancho Obi-Wan gift shop. Then again, in my experience, there's no such thing as luck. So pay attention to all instructions, follow your guide, and you will experience a galactic, physical, and spiritual reawakening from a certain point of view. And remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Thank you, Master. So that's the voice of James Arnold Taylor, who was Obi-Wan on the Clone Wars.